Good evening and welcome back again, Realty Pros, to our Thursday evening agent training, 7 p.m. here. We are hybrid, both virtual and in the office, broadcasting from our Upper Marlboro location. We are continuing our training on prospecting, building our book of business, lead generations, our sphere of influence, and referrals directly from within that sphere of influence. So as you all know well by now, we started our text message and constant contact challenge for the first leg of our 22 in 2022 challenge. All right. Can anybody articulate to me what the first part of that challenge entailed? Anybody either online or in the office want to tell us what we had to do? What's the first step?
To send a text message, the first text message that you guys send to all of the people in our contacts.
Yes, that's the first step.
Basically asking for their birth date and updated email address.
All right. So sending that first text message to everybody in your sphere of influence. What does that accomplish by asking them for their email address and asking them for their birthday? What's the purpose of that?
Basically to connect back with them, and then to put it in the constant contact, so we can already have that information when we want to send out the blast of whatever information we want to send out.
Definitely. Darlene said engagement. Joy, did you say something? To add it to constant contact? Definitely. Anybody else?
To stay on top and the point of constant contact is to stay at the top of their thoughts.
Absolutely. Let me ask you ladies this question. You ladies and gentlemen, apologies, Kermon. Let me ask you guys this question. What do we accomplish when we take somebody that's just a contact and now we put them into constant contact? What have we effectively done?
Put us on their minds.
Did y'all hear what the ladies in the office said? We have added them to our book of business. So everything that we're doing is to grow our book of business, guys, because that's where the commissions lie. The commissions are in your book of business, not just in the people that you know, but the people that you have active contact information for that is placed within your campaign system so that you can market to them on a regular basis. That's the difference between a contact and somebody that you're prospecting for leads within your book of business, okay? So you started with the campaign. I'm going to ask a couple ladies here in the office to share, and anybody, what has been your response for those that have started to send that email campaign? I'm sorry, text message campaign. I don't think they can hear you from back there. Come on.
Can you hear me?
You gonna come up here, really? You don't want to come in front of the camera. She's being shy, y'all. She's being shy. Come on, Aurelia. Come on.
Okay, I just want to share that I originally sent the text out to everyone. At first I started trying to straighten out my address book and all of that, and I said, just forget it. I sent it out 6 o'clock that morning, and I got over 117 people to respond with the information. So the next phase was to get that information to the point where I can actually put it back on the contact list, because that's what I'm going to upload into constant contact. So I had an issue with that. So I had to call Shay as to how do I go about doing that for each individual. So what I did was, for each person that responds to you, you have to click on the email address, because it will link right back up to to your contacts. And then you say add to a current person, and then you actually put the search for that person and put them in. For the date of birth, what I did was went through the whole list. That's why I know I had 117 people, because I actually did 12 pages where I did January through December, and I started putting them in the groups of the months that their birth months and year. And so that made it easier, because once I did the email part and was already in their file, I put their date of birth in there. And that's how I'll know I'm going to be completed with my list, because I put them in the category of each month.
Excellent, excellent.
Aurelia, can I ask how many people were in your contact book so that you get your
I had
117?
545 people in my contact book, and I'm still getting responses too.
You got a
But
20% response?
20% respond. I was really, really
Wow.
surprised at that. And then some of those
Wow.
people weren't actually contacts. Like I had AAA, and you have some of your businesses and different things that are in there. But yes, I did get a 20%, and they're still, responding to me. Hey, I didn't get a chance to respond to you yesterday, but here's my information. I even
Wow.
had a bishop he called me directly and said, what do you want this information for? And I was honest with them. I said, I'm kind of building my book of business. If you have any family members in there actually need help or whatever. And I said, and plus I want to give a birthday shout out to you.
That's right.
Yep.
And then when I got off the phone with him, I was like, oh, he probably not going to give me, but he immediately sent me his information.
Excellent, excellent. So
Mhm.
question for you,
Wonderful.
how many people do you have left to send the text message to, or have you sent it to everybody at this point?
I sent it to everybody.
Excellent. And she said
Oh,
almost
that's-
immediately.
Immediately.
Um, I have a question.
Come on back. Mhm.
Ron, go ahead, the question.
Rhonda, you have a question?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I think Dee was first. Go ahead, Dee.
No, I asked my question. Go ahead, Rhonda.
Oh, okay. I have people in my contacts because I kind of started doing it individually because I had people in my contact that some of these people are not people that I would send that type of stuff to, such as, it's certain people like at my job. I
Right.
can't send that to them.
Yeah, well, maybe
So
she'll hit on that.
how do you?
We're gonna
Okay,
go
'cause
through that. That's a good question. I'm
Mhm.
glad you asked. We're gonna
Yeah.
go through that.
Yeah, because
So
I
that's
started
one of our
going through it
talking points.
individually. Okay, I started going through it individually and then I only got to the C's. I said there got to be a better way.
So no worries, we'll go through that. So again, it's so effective. She sent that out at 6 o'clock in the morning, got immediately 20% response, and people have been responding since then. Okay? Does anybody
And
who
even
is-
with the people that I only got up to the C's, and I probably got like 20 responses, even just getting up to the C's, because I've had to do it individually.
Mhm.
So I've been getting responses too, but it's just taking too long doing it individually.
So don't worry, as long as you're doing it, you're doing what you need to do. So whether this takes you a
Mhm.
day, a month, a week, or whatever the time is, it's time well spent. So commit the time to doing it. I don't want any of us to say, oh, well, I wanted it to be a one and done, but I actually have to put the work in. Embrace it. Embrace the work that has to go into it, because this is what it's going to take to build your book of business. And all of those 20 people who now responded to you, now those people are thinking of you in light of real estate, whereas they might not have been thinking about you in light of real estate. They may have been thinking about something that didn't have anything to do with you. So now you're top of mind for them. Okay. So embrace the process. That's what we're going to talk about, following through and embracing the process. And Talita, did you have something that you wanted to share? You sent out quite a number.
Mrs. Porter,
Yes.
I have a question.
Hold on,
So-
Maggie has a question. You can't hear Talita. Talita, let's see. Let me turn it up. All right, Maggie, what was your question?
My question is, the bulk of my contacts are from in Texas. Now,
Uh-huh.
I did send out, everybody that was in my phone for, this immediate area,
Mhm.
where without medicines here, which came to a total of 147. Do I send that message out even to people that are in Texas?
You
Or Louisiana?
absolutely send it out to people that are in Texas. Does anybody want to take a stab at that question?
Sure.
Joy said referrals, and that is the name of the game. So absolutely, you can get referrals. So here's the thing. If you know people in Texas, you can simply connect with an agent in Texas, get a referral agreement. Now you can get a 50% commission for a deal that you haven't put any work to. So definitely do the same thing for Texas. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Now, Talita, you had something? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mhm. Mhm.
Can she come to the mic too?
She's asking a question. When she shares, she'll come up here. So she has a son, and you want to come up here? Come on. You gotta get used to being in front of video. It's the new world we live in.
Yeah, I was asking the question, with my son being in North Carolina, how would I get connected to a realtor in North Carolina?
That's an excellent question too. So one of the things that you do, I would Google the top 5 realtors in North Carolina. Then I would call them each. I would have conversations with them and see how responsive they are, see what their personality is like, see if based on your experience with them, they would seem to give your client good customer service, and then choose one. Choose one, do a referral agreement with him or her, and then entrust your client with them. If it works well, then you have a contact that you can continue to use.
So would you also take referrals from somebody within the office? Like, like maybe
Absolutely,
Angela
absolutely. You
or,
guys can do referrals anytime. Yes, you can.
because I have a couple of realtors that I work with in North Carolina that were excellent. So yeah, it
Yes,
depends on
contact
where
them
they
in North
are.
Carolina. Yeah,
It
good.
depends on where they are. It's always very local.
There you go. All right, so now I want to answer the question that a couple of you have had, and I wish that I could cast it from my phone. So here is what this A to Z contacts looks like for those of you that have it. Hopefully everybody's has done it as of yet. So as you can see, the message is already pre-populated. It has my entire contact list queued up. So it's like 2,800 people queued up. So what this does is because it's going to allow me to press this button one by one, now I don't have to worry about going through my contacts to clean them up before I start this, because I simply press, I'm going to change this name or take out everything I don't want in there, and I'm going to send it to this person. And you see how it just queues up the next one. It goes right to the next one. So the reason I'm doing this is because if there is anybody in your contact list that you don't want it to go to, you simply go to the top of the screen right there and you back that person's name out. And if just for the sake of the activity, I put my own name in there. So that one, I don't want to go to them, but I don't want to start my queue over and have to start from the beginning.
Okay.
So that message, I'm going to send it to myself, right? And then it queues up the very next person. Send to this next person, so forth and so on. So this allows me to continue through all of my contacts back to back. I have total control as to who I want to receive it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
when you in A to Z contact, it automatically starts at whoever is at the top. So there's some people, yeah,
That works for iPhone.
so it's automatically going to start at the top, and then it's going to work you through all of your contacts. So don't worry again about having to clean up your contacts before you do it. Forgive me, I'm going to take this off. I'm far enough
So,
back.
but that only works for iPhone. If you have
For this particular one. Yep.
yeah.
Now, that being
But if
said,
you don't,
Ola shared WhatsApp broadcast. Has anybody tried to use WhatsApp broadcast just yet? So she has an Android device and she shared WhatsApp broadcast. And the difference is that sends it to everybody at the same time. So
Right.
for that one, if you want a one and done, that's going to be your WhatsApp broadcast. D is correct. This one is for your Apple product. So this is something, we have the total control over it like that. But you guys can search out, whatever app works well for the Android platform. Just search it out and share with the group once you find it to be a useful tool.
So Miss Pat and I are working with Textra, and we're finding it to be pretty interesting. So far I've been able to figure out how to set up a group, and the group, it actually will let you do everything, but I'm still learning other things. So as we learn those, we'll share them out.
Okay. Aurelia, you had something?
WhatsApp. Because some the broadcast, it'll send out to everyone, but they'll give you individually.
They get it individually. So Ola is the person who used the WhatsApp broadcast. Miss Pat also, she responded about the WhatsApp broadcast. So the two of them have used it. I have not. I have Apple. I've used the A to Z contact. But that one, to my understanding, is going to send it to everybody at the same time. So everybody's going to receive your message. And the difference is you want to make sure that you do that when you have the availability to actually respond to everybody, because it's going to hit everybody at the same time and you're going to have everybody responding. You'll definitely need to be able to manage, you know, updating the contact from there, putting everybody's email addresses into your contacts and so forth and so on. Now, that being said, the next step, of course, with constant contact, you already know that when you have an updated contact, all you do is go to constant contact from your device and simply upload your contacts. It's like 3 different clicks of the button. So touch, uploads everybody. So you don't have to go in there and type in the new information. You just touch with all of the new contact information that you gathered.
That's the question I had. Because we already had contact with uploaded. It's on the back half, right? They only want to put the new one in there. That has it.
Yes, there you go. So with constant contact, if you had somebody previously that you only had a telephone number for and you didn't have an email address, it likely didn't pull them into constant contact because that's an email platform. It may have only pulled the people that you had emails for previously. So
There, it's not a duplicate. That was I had uploaded again.
okay.
And I was wondering if it's going to duplicate what's already in there.
So as you do it, if you want to, so say by chance you spend today and you add those emails to your account, go to constant contact, go to your list and touch those people's name and upload them. That way you know that if there's no duplication in there. Because it allows you to either do all of them in constant contact or individually by you touching it, but you don't have to type them in. You can just touch the contact. You can check. Yep, check the ones that you wanted. Does that make sense to everybody? So in terms of efficiency, you've gotten the emails, you have several different platforms that you can use so that you're prospecting to everybody within your book of business. Now you've migrated them over to constant contact. So now you have a true book of business with all your contacts. Be diligent because people are going to continue to respond. The people who didn't respond today, you're going to have people responding 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 days later. Hey, you know, just getting around to responding to your message. So be diligent because we're doing this work to get their information. So then take the information and transfer it over into constant contact. Okay.
That was one thing I wanted to say.
Sure.
I set up a standard thing. Thank you for responding to me. And I just pasted it on.
There you go.
I wanted to make it more personal, then I typed personal stuff, but I had a general thing that
Aurelia added to the campaign a thank you message for everybody who responded. And that's a great idea. So you guys can customize a thank you message. And when you find something that works, put it in your notes, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You create it, you put it in your notes, you copy and paste so that you're sending the same thing. You know that you already have it created. Okay. So that's the thank you. Now, that was a 4-part text campaign. How many of us got through all 4 of those? Or let me take a read or a poll and see where we are with that. Where did we get to? Did we get to number 2, number 3, number 4, number 1 on the campaign?
on number 1 because I'm reaching out to make sure that I follow the steps of contact first. And it took me half the day just to make sure.
Aurelia said, can you all hear her? Aurelia says she's still on step number 1 because she's following the steps appropriately and adding that information to constant contact. So she's still on number 1, text message number 1. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. So it's very intentional that I asked that because I want for us to remain diligent when it takes us several days, right? So for this part in the challenge, you see, we gave a week for it, right? You can send that first message in the day, but you have until the 31st to continue to, get through that part of the challenge, all right? Now, that being said, once that first 4 is complete, Then the fifth message that I dropped into WhatsApp, the one that says, hey, it's me, Joy, again. You know, I've taken the 22 and 2022 challenge with my brokerage, where I have to help 22 families to close on their home, to buy or sell their home this year. Can you send me 2 contacts? Make sure that you get to that step in the campaign, because that step is going to have several different components. The purpose of that is that now you're going to multiply your contacts. You already now, at that point, you're going to have the email addresses for everybody that you know, so that you can transfer them into your book of business. But let's say by chance you start with 500 contacts. Now at the end of that, provided that everybody responds, now you have 1,500 contacts because you sent that message and you're asking for each person to send you 2 people that they think can use your help this year in purchasing or selling. What are your guys' thoughts about that?
I think it's great, but I was. Are you responding now and contact with the second, third, fourth?
So the 5th part of that text campaign is a text message, right? So constant contact is going to be consistent throughout the year. You're going to set up your campaigns in constant contact, but the text message campaign is specific to text messages first, right? So the first part of that, you know, can somebody? Yep.
Then you go, then you start communicating.
Yep. But there's another step. So this is the one that says, hey, family, this is Joy again. I've taken the 22 and 2022 challenge for my brokerage, where I have to help 22 families to buy or sell their homes in 2022. Would you please send me two people that could use my help this year? I really need your support to crush this challenge. Thank you in advance. Realty. Okay. So that is a very intentional kind of finalization to the text, because now you've captured their information and now you're going to multiply your contacts. So you post that, so they already know they've been communicating with you. Now they're sending you referrals. But then the next step to that is that same text message. You're going to take that and you're going to put it on your Facebook business page. Okay. Take that, put it on your Facebook business page. The 5th one, that's asking for everybody that you know to send you 2 contacts, and boost that post on your Facebook business page. Okay. Based on your budget, you may do a boost for $2 a day or something like that. You may do a boost for $1 a day. You may just add $10 to it, $20 to it. It's up to you, but you're going to boost that. And okay, I don't want us to be overwhelmed, but I want you to see how we're going through layers of prospecting within our sphere of influence. Because in our cell phones, you have hundreds of people or thousands of people in your cell phone, but that's not the only people that you're connected to. How many people are you guys connected to on Facebook? Just throw out. Say 500, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000. 3,000. Darlene, 3,000 for Darlene. How many for you, Joy?
Sure, me and Don alone, that's 1,500.
1,500. Okay, so for Darlene and her husband, 1,500. How many people are you guys connected to on Facebook?
Mine is under 500.
It doesn't matter if it's 4 or if it's 10. It doesn't matter, because when you do this, you're going to multiply it, right? So for Rhonda, it's about 500. However many you have, now you're going to use Facebook just like a text message machine. Guess why? What does Facebook have that allows you to send a message directly to the person? What is it called?
Messenger.
Messenger. Yes. So Messenger serves just like a text message component of Facebook. So now what you're going to do is you're going to send that to people in Messenger. Hey, you know, I'm updating my contacts. I don't have your email address. Send me your email address, so forth and so on. So now people that you're connected to with on Facebook that you didn't have direct contact information for, now you will be able to move those people over to your book of business. Then you get through that same challenge and you're going to plug that last email. Hey, I've taken the 22 and 2022. I said it right that time, y'all. Challenge for my brokerage. I have to help 22 families, and you're going to ask them to send you to people that they know. Okay. So you are constantly prospecting, lead generating, building your book of business within your sphere of influence. This is the most powerful referral source. Your referrals from your sphere of influence are 50% likely to work with you and to close with you when they come from your sphere of influence, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot that we can do in terms of marketing, that even the mailers and all of those things, those are great, but those are about 2% return on your rate on investment. Whereas referrals directly from your sphere of influence is a 50% return. Okay, can somebody say 50? 50% return. So I want you to embrace the process, right? We're talking about text messages. We're talking about being consistent to prospecting in this way so that you guys are building your book of business and you are getting direct referrals. And from all of those text messages, when you get through to the third one, I think it's the third one in order is the one that asks them if they need to purchase, if they want to buy a house this year. When you send that, is it the second or the third one? Someone help me. Is there anybody looking at it?
Well, I think we
Okay.
asked, well, in the first one, we asked, no, the second, I think it's the second one. Do you
Mhm.
know anyone that want to, or do you want to buy a home? I think I
Or-
added, or do you, anyone, But I have a question before we go forward.
Yes.
What about the people that, because I've gotten 3 different responses. I've gotten the people who sent the information that I requested. I've
Mhm.
also gotten, hey, yeah, how's everything? Go right into a conversation.
Mhm.
And then I've gotten people who've not said anything. How do we respond to the people who didn't respond? And then the people who totally ignored my request for a birthday and an email?
So what you're going to do first is you're going to get through all of your responses. Get through all of your responses, walk through every phase in that campaign. Once you've gotten through every phase, so all 5 of those text messages to all of the people who have responded, then you can go back and prospect those people who didn't respond. But focus on what you're getting out of it. So if, say, like by chance for Aurelia, immediately when she sent out, 500 of those messages, she got 114 responses immediately around when she sent them out at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's early for me. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be responding at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, but that being said, it shows you how effective this text message communication is, right? And I will say one more thing to that. I don't know that for people who are on the do not call list, I don't know about them being on a do not text message list. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So our reach is just vastly extended to people who, you know how it is. No matter what we do, we have our phone right here or right there or somewhere near. So you're sending them a direct personal message that they don't have to filter through emails or mail or something like that to get. Is coming directly to their cell phones. Okay. So somebody reiterate for me what we're going to do. Well, first getting through these 5 steps, the 5 text messages. And as Maggie has pointed out, text message number 2 is where you're reminding them that you're an agent and you're asking them for a referral. Once you send that out in masses to your contact, that's when you're going to start receiving referrals. That's when you're going to start having people say, yeah, actually I do. Yeah, I need to buy a house. You know what? My son was looking to buy a house, my cousin or my niece. That's when you're going to start getting the referrals that you need to jumpstart your 22 and 2022. So get through those steps. The very final one is going to then amass a whole nother list of contacts. But then by that time, you're going to have email addresses, referrals, and now new contacts, all just from text messages.
So
Right?
I had 2 questions.
Mhm.
One was, how do you know, this is a short one, how do you know how many people you have in your Facebook contacts? How do you know that?
Facebook tells you. Mhm.
Where do you find that?
Is there anybody that maybe our next training we can walk through it?
Okay.
We can
And
do
then
that,
my
but that is on Facebook. You can see from your profile page. Let me see if I can pull it up here. But you can see your friends on here, right?
so it's are we talking about the amount of friends you have?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now I know where to find that. And then my
Yes.
second question is, when you have a gazillion people answering you, and I've asked this before, what do you do so that you're not overwhelmed? Because you've got Mr. Porter was saying this morning that get ready because you're going to have like a tsunami coming at you. What do you do with a tsunami? How do you handle that?
You manage it and you thank God for it, right? Because when you
Of
have
course you're
an
thankful.
abundance, you have an abundance of people that are saying, "Hey, D, I'm glad you reached out to me. Here's my email. Yes, I need to buy. Here are some contacts for you." That's when you celebrate and you thank the Lord because that many people are responding to you, right? And then you have your time blocks. So everything we've talked about in our scheduling, we're talking about blocking time for this prospecting. And within that time, when you're time blocking for your prospecting, that's when you're going to strategically start uploading their contacts. You're uploading, you're updating the contacts, you're uploading them into Constant Contact. You just do it one by one. It's okay. But embrace that process because the flood is what we're doing all of this for. So I don't want you to
Right.
avoid the flood. I want you to embrace it. And if you need help to manage the leads that you're getting, reach out to your team. Reach out to your team. If you have an accountability partner, reach out to your accountability partner. Because I can assure you that if you don't have the capacity to handle leads that are coming through, I can assure you that one of your colleagues would be very excited to help you to manage those leads.
Okay.
Is there anybody that's in
Okay.
training or on the line this evening that would be happy to help somebody manage leads? Anybody else? We got people in here raising their hands. Darlene is raising the room. How about on this line? Is there anybody on the line that will be happy to help somebody manage leads as they come in?
Absolutely.
There you go. I see Paula has a thumbs up. Maggie said absolutely.
Okay, Miss Margaret. Okay. All right, folks.
That is not a problem, D. That's not a problem. Just do what it takes
Well,
so
you
that
know.
you have the flood to manage.
Right, because that was my stumbling block last year until I got on the team. I was always like, how am I going to handle all of this? It's too much, and I can't. I'm like,
So it's a
I feel
good
like
thing
I'm
when you
always
create
juggling
good
now.
problems. Create good problems
Yes,
for
it
yourself.
is a good problem. It is a
Yes.
good problem to have.
And that's what
Yes,
we
I
want to do.
agree.
Create good problems for yourself. Push yourself
All
to
right.
a point where now you have to start a team. Push yourself to a point where now you've got to employ the transaction managers. Push yourself to a point where you got to reach out and say, I actually need some help because I have such an influx of leads that I can't handle this. If you are not doing that, then that means there's more to be done. Okay. That is the whole goal of what it is that we're doing. I had this conversation with a couple of your Realty Pro colleagues about working themselves out of a job. And that's how you do it, right? So if you're dual career and your goal is to transition, that is how you transition successfully out of being dual career into being full-time as an agent. You do so much prospecting such that all of your pipeline buildup and your follow-up has taken over, the time that you have to work your full-time job. So now you work yourself out of your full-time job. Okay. That is the recipe for success. You should have a bustling pipeline for the people that are ready to buy and sell and you've got pre-approvals for. So all of our Realty Pros should have accountability partners or be on a team. Is there anybody on this line or in training that does not have an accountability partner? Maggie? Who else?
Well, Darlene and I have worked very well together.
Okay, you're on a team.
Yeah, well, Darlene and I are not, but yeah.
So I have multiple layers of support.
Exactly.
You have multiple layers of support. You have a team. You have Realty Pro colleagues that you can reach out to at any time. So that's good. Maggie, you need an accountability partner. All right, now let's see. We have D. Richardson seems to be inviting you. Is that what's happening, D? We can't hear.
I'm ready.
Maggie and I worked together before and were very successful. So I would love it if you would, contact us. Miss Anita, Miss Pat, and I are looking for other people to join us. So you contact us and let us know if you would, what you hear. If you're comfortable with what you hear, let us know if you'd like to join us.
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
on
Thank
Lancaster and Associates. So that's Miss Pat Lancaster, Anita, and D. And then now you, Margaret. So by all means, we want for all of our agents to have multiple layers of insulation. Absolutely connect with somebody. You are not meant to be an island unto yourself. You always have Mr. Porter and I, but it is essential that you also have colleagues that you have intentionally connected with, and you guys work together to support each other and to help to hold each other accountable. Okay, so you have everybody's numbers in WhatsApp. Maggie, go ahead and text D, and Anita and Miss Pat, and vice versa. Get connected and stay connected. All right. All right. Any other thoughts? We're walking through those text messages. So we've gotten through. You have your hand up, Darlene? Yes.
So even though I have the text thread, text out somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
as you work that I do,
Mm-hmm.
I feel,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't feel comfortable just sit out a mass. Is that something you just, now, or do you want to wait until you've gone through the process of it? That's 1, 2, and 3. See, 'cause
You
that's
can do
something-
Messenger now. So Darlene has asked a great question. She said on Messenger that is not as personal as the people that are in your contacts. So she's happy to send a mass message to everybody that she has on Messenger and wants to know if she can go ahead and start doing that now, or if she has to wait until she finishes with the text message component. And you can do Messenger right now if that's something that you want to do.
Yeah, that's not personal in my content. But half the people on Facebook,
Yeah.
that they just connect to someone. You just do it in there.
There you go. So you're going to use it now. How many people are you connected with on Facebook? Aurelia, you have a heck of a network.
Mhm.
You have a really big network of people. Yeah, so you want to get connected. It's okay. When you open up Facebook with their algorithm, they're going to suggest people to you that are already connected to people that you know. Friend every single person, guys. So in the prospecting, the name of the game is increasing your contacts. We are going to be hyper focused on this prospecting from within your sphere of influence and increasing those contacts over the next 90 days. So you're going to see that thread in everything that we're doing, because that is what's going to get your 2022 off to an amazing start. And that's what's going to get you the contacts that you need in advance. D, are you laughing at me stumbling over 2022 every time? So when it comes up, I'm going to point to you. I'm going to say, D,
22 and 2022.
there you go.
My
So
question
I'll
is,
cue you up. Go ahead.
we have we have had experiences with being blocked. Is this one of those experiences that will one of these things that will cause that to happen to you with Facebook, or do you know?
So I don't know, and I don't think so. Facebook is kind of funny sometimes, but for each one of us, we should have a Facebook business page. That was one of our initial steps in setting up our prospecting. Every last one of our Realty Pros should have a Facebook business page. And through your Facebook business page, you invite everybody that you're friends with to your Facebook business page, just like you're friends with them on your personal page. So you can message, you can post, you can do everything that you need within the guidelines of Facebook's their regulations. Because sometimes they can get a little funny, and none of us have any control over that. But as long as we're playing by their rules, they should be amenable to it. So have your Facebook business page set up. Yes.
So I do my best to try and drag my
Personal page to your business page. Yes. Yes.
So when I'm talking about Messenger, well, I'm gonna do Messenger on my business page and my personal, but I have more people on my personal page than I do on my business page. For whatever reason, it's like so hard to get into the business page. So I'll post something and then I'll share it on my business page with somebody else. And it's like the one that is on my personal page, it'll get like 80, 90, 20, whatever likes. And then I had this one kid that's been on my page and it's like 83.
So Darlene is talking about the difference that she sees in activity on her personal page versus her business page. And sometimes her personal page gets a whole lot more attention and likes than her business page. Now, here's the thing that I want us to know, right? Because we're sending a text message to people and we're asking them for their contact information, you can literally drop that into everybody's inbox on Messenger, and that does not break any of Facebook's guidelines. So what you do, you simply add cell phone number to that. You can say, hey, just follow the text and just add cell phone number. And then all of those people, and many of those people are going to respond to you. They're likely going to go to your page. Oh, hey, yeah, that's Darlene. I know her. Oh, hey, that's Rhonda. I know her. And then they'll respond to you and they'll send you that information. Now, guess what? You can respond to them in Facebook, or you can take them on your own platform, to your cell phone, as a text message, to your constant contact, as a campaign, because now you're migrating that information from your resources, from your sphere of influence that's embedded in Facebook. Now you're migrating them over to your cell phone, and you're migrating them into your book of business. So that's why the simple but strategic text messages are done in that way.
Okay. Got it.
Messenger is so simple. It's literally like text messaging. Yep. So for all of you, if you're doing it on your computer, your iPad, your cell phone, you already have your message copied in your notes section. You copy it and you go to Messenger and you paste, send, paste, send, paste, send. And that's the way that you're also going to build your contacts. Because say by chance you have 500 people on your phone and you have 500 people on Facebook. Well, now you have 1,000 people. So you're just migrating those contacts over, and then you're asking all of them for 2 people that can use your help. And provided that all of them respond, then now you'll have 3,000 people.
And you only need 10% of that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank everybody that was,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that. And I think I was probably like, hey, thank you for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it stopped me. Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And then I tried the next day, so they silenced me for a while. And I was just saying thank you, but a girlfriend of mine was saying that they did it just wanted to make sure.
Within 200, was that the maximum?
And they said, okay, recommend it. So they wouldn't.
So Darlene just said something really important. If there are any Facebook gurus among us, or anybody that would take the lead and go in to find out what the guideline is, they do have kind of robo, I don't know if they would call it dialers or features to make sure that it's not a robot. So she brought up a very important point. When you're going through your contacts on Facebook and you're dropping messages into their inbox, is a certain number a day that they would allow you to do. And Darlene said she got to 200 and then they stopped her. And I'm sure you had to wait until the next day to do more. Yeah, so it made her stop for a while. So I don't know what that maximum is. I don't know if the maximum is 200. I don't know if it's 100. But look at it this way. Even if you only did 50, right? Even if you did 50, that's a lot of people that you've prospected, okay? I'm going to take a pause for the calls because we're going through these things, but I want to make sure that the big picture is being revealed. We talked about starting with, we'll take it from the least amount, 500 people in your phone and maybe 500 people on Facebook. And now you got all of their information into your constant contact. And you ask all of them for 2 people, 2 referrals. And if each one of them give you 2 people, now you've made a leap to 3,000 people that you'll have. Can anybody tell me why you think we're doing this way? What is the purpose of what I'm having you guys to do?
You're building the book of business.
To build your book of business, but I want us to think in terms of numbers of contacts.
The more, is somebody speaking?
Yes, Aurelia's talking. Mhm. She's getting there. Come up here. I think you're getting hot. So I want you to come on up here. Come on. Come on, Aurelia. Make sure we connect in the dots.
No, she showed us that in the business plan, that it is a number.
Right.
So the more people we
Right.
reach out to, the more people, most likely you'll get business from.
Right.
Definitely. So that is it. And I'm going to take it. You know what? Before I say it, let me ask anybody else if they can go even deeper. So you heard us talk about going from 1,000 contacts.
So we can
3,000.
get 22 and 2022.
22,
That's
there
it
you
right
go.
there. That's
There
it.
you go.
That's it, to get 22 in 2022. But let's break that down even deeper, guys. You know, when we were looking at the business plan, we saw on there, if you only wanted to
Making it
make
easy.
100K, yep, you got it, D. That's the page right there. If you only wanted, if your goal was only to make 100K, then you only needed to reach 2,160 people in a whole year. But what we're talking about, this is a week worth of prospecting in your cell phone and on Facebook, that you start with 1,000 and it's going to take you up to 3,000 contacts in 1 week. Okay, so if you persist with this for a month, how many new contacts are you going to have in a month? Okay, so everything that we're doing is very intentional, because if you do this and you commit to the process and embrace it, within the next month, you're going to have probably 4,000, 6,000 new contacts just from the people that you guys have on Facebook, that now you're going to have contact information for in your cell phones, and you're going to be able to market to those people as well. So you see how your contacts are multiplying just by prospecting within your book of business. Can anybody see the big picture?
Yes.
Break
Yes.
it down for me. Break it down for me. Tell me what you see. Tell the group what you see. I need to know that you're getting this. Somebody break it down for me.
Can I just read from Making It Easy?
Yeah, sure.
So if you have 2,160 contacts, that's going to give you 180 leads, which will lead to 36 listing appointments, which will allow you to take, 18. You get for every 2 listing appointments, you get 1 that actually goes through. So you have 18 listings, and then of the 18 listings, 9 of them will be sold. And so then you've got that many people. So if you're doing 3,000, you've got that much more. So
Before you continue, D, I want you to take those numbers and double them, because we're
and
talking
that's what I
about
was trying to do.
We're talking about multiplicity. We're doubling.
Right.
We're not going one by one. We're doubling. We're multiplying.
Right.
So I want you to take those numbers and double them, and give us everything you just said, but double the numbers.
So if you have, let's say you have 4,000 listings, from that you should get
4,000 what?
contacts.
Okay.
So let's say you got 4,000 contacts, because
4,320.
right, we
That would
wait
be
a
double.
minute. I can't do that. I can't do that division.
Okay.
So if you have, what did you say,
4,320.
Okay,
That'll be double.
4,320. Okay, so you have 4,320. That's doubling it. Then from the 4,320, you're going to get 360 leads. From the 360 leads, you're going to get twice that, 72 listing appointments. From the 72 listing appointments, you're going to take half of that, which is what? 72 divided by 2.
36.
36.
You're going to get 36 listings. From the 36 listings, you get half of that, which will be 18 listings that you will have sold. And from those 18 listings that you have sold, what was that we were saying that money was going to be 100,000? So then you're talking about $200,000 that you would make.
And
gross.
you haven't even counted the buyers. This is just from listings.
Right.
You haven't even counted the buyers. So I want to drop the mic, but I'm going to take a pause and make sure the light has come on with everybody. On your Making It Easy, breaking down the numbers. Oh,
It was page 11 in the
page 11 on
in the
Making It
business
Easy.
plan.
Mhm. But the cheat sheet that's in there, 400K, double it. Okay, we're talking about 22 in 2022. We're not talking about 14 anymore. So this hyper focus on prospecting is purposeful, guys. Embrace this process, because with that being said, listen, it's fine to take a whole year to get 2,160 contacts, but it's better to do it in a weekend. Okay, it's fine to take a year to get 4,200. What was the number? 4,100 and however many contacts, but it's better to do it in a week. Okay,
Yeah,
So
it was
what does
21.
that look like for your business? What does that look like for your business plan? If you embrace this prospecting that I'm talking about within your sphere of influence with the people that you are already connected with, how many contacts are you going to be able to amass by the time this challenge is over? And what is your first quarter 22 going to look like? Your first quarter, like there you go. You could be making your goal within that first quarter. Now, that being said, there's a component that's going to be your seed time and harvest, and we get that. So some of it is going to be book of business building, nurturing leads, and all those different things. But you will have amassed all of those leads in the first month of the year. So I want us all to see the light, because the light should have come on for every last one of us. Is there anybody that has any questions?
Ms. Porter, I don't, oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I have a quick question about the message.
Sure. Hold on. Is your question about Messenger, Kermon, or something that we just said?
Something we just said.
Go to Messenger. Hold on one second. Go ahead, Kermon.
Well, the only thing I was going to say, and I'm glad I got a chance to speak. I was eating, so I could. That's the only reason why I haven't been shouting and talking and everything.
Are you still driving, Kermon?
I brought food home, so I'm home. I was eating a little bit in the car, but I brought food
Are
home.
you still driving? If
No,
you're no
I'm
longer
home.
driving, then you can turn your video on.
Yeah, yeah. I'm no longer driving. Can you hear me?
Turn on your video, Carmine.
Oh no, we can't do that. I got ketchup on my mouth. I got, but what I can do is I can tell you that there's two things that you said that really caught my attention. One that you said a long time ago, and this is really what stuck with me. You said it's not the market, it's the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this is part of our marketing. And our marketing is what's going to take us to all the levels that we want, because you have to have people, and you have to have people that you can talk to, that you can get the information out to. The second thing is, I love multiplication. More than addition, I love multiplication. And one of the reasons why I love multiplication is because multiplication takes you into something that's called like compounding. And compounding is, I think it was Einstein that said it's the seventh or eighth wonder of the world. So when you're compounding, when you're multiplying, what you said you can do in a weekend, what it takes a lot of people a year to do. And that's so important, because I know a lot of people are dual career. And I think I said before, so with this, you can be a weekend warrior. Mm-hmm. Where you can take a Friday, a Thursday night, a Friday, and an all-day Saturday, and you can get so much done. And that's one of the things that I have in my my goal for this year as well. Even though I'm full-time, I still want to tear the weekends up. And that means that you can get even more people. You have more time. A lot of times you're fresher. So I think it's awesome the way these numbers, I'm a numbers guy. The numbers are falling together. You cannot lose with these numbers. We hear people say, women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. So the numbers are the numbers. That's one thing I would like to share with everybody. The numbers are the numbers. And if you do the numbers will always do you. Okay. That's it.
Good pointers in. All right. So does everybody see the point? Does everybody see the light? Does everybody see the light?
See the light.
I would like to say something I read just this morning was, it came down to the money is in the relationships. Mm-hmm. So we're always talking about nurturing and all of that. That is truly it. If you build the relationships, and we're already talking about, working within a sphere of influence. If you're continuing to build those relationships, and people know, like, and trust you, and they believe that you can do what you say you can do, and you believe it, of course you have to believe it too, the money's going to come. Just build those relationships. And that was something that sort of like, that was another light that came on again, because I've heard it over and over again. So the money's in the numbers, and the numbers are the relationships that you build.
That's good. Thanks for sharing that. All right, Aurelia, you had a question about something. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Aurelia's asking about Facebook, and I will not pretend to be a Facebook expert with all of their guidelines and regulations. We always find out things. It's like, okay, what are they doing now? I will not pretend to be the expert in terms of what their guidelines are. What I do know is that you are able to, anybody that you're connected with on Facebook, you are able to send them a message, and you're able to say, hey, you know, I was looking at my contacts for the year and noticed that I do not have your contact information. What is your telephone number? What is your email address, and what is your birthday? You drop that in Messenger, because as it pertains to the Facebook guidelines, that if you do that on your personal page, that's not a business related message. So there are no stipulations as it pertains to that, right? So when you do that, and they're going to send you their cell phone number, they're going to send you their email address and their birthday. Now you're going to put that into your phone, and Facebook doesn't govern your phone, and they don't govern your constant contact. So we've migrated those people from Facebook into our book of business, where now you have the control to communicate with those people in the way that you see fit. Okay. Because that very first message in that text campaign is going to be asking them for their contact information. Okay. Make sense? Yeah. So you can do it on your, you,
Hey, you know, a goal of 20. That's the one that I was saying that you probably could do it on the first.
so Aurelia is making a good point. She's saying that for the 5th text message in the sequence that says, you know, I've taken the 22 challenge, the 22 and 2022 challenge, where I need you to send me 2 people, to make sure that you do that on your business page instead of the personal page. But by that time, simply sending out the first text message in that campaign, now you're going to have their contact information. Okay. So I want for all of us to see the abundance of opportunity that's already around us, right? So whether you have, say by chance, you're starting out with 200 people in your phone, and you're starting out with maybe 500 people on Facebook, whatever the case is, there is even an abundance of resources within that, because if they refer you or connect you with people that they know, then now you're continuing to build your sphere of influence, right? If these people you can actually reach out to, send a message to, they are within your sphere of influence. Okay. That being said, there are levels to this thing, and I don't want to go too far and, you know, have us to miss the point from this evening. But even on Facebook, our goal should constantly be to be adding more friends strategically, right? Because the more people that you add on Facebook, now you're able to migrate those people over into your book of business. So now we're talking about being strategic. You might look at your friends and your friends' friends, look through their friends and say, who do you know? If you're not already connected with that person, then now you're connecting with that person on Facebook, because as long as you have a connection to them, now you have there's a line that's out, and they can, you know, they can take the hook, you know, they can take the bait. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have a connection to that person, you can reach that person with your marketing information. You can stay in front of that person. And then also the information that you're posting on your page and on your business page, now that person will be able to see it too, whereas they weren't able to see it before because you weren't connected to them. Okay. So well, let me take a pause for the calls and see if anybody has any questions, comments, or thoughts. All right. So then again, everything that we're talking about, we are hyper focusing on prospecting, because if we embrace this and follow through, we will multiply our contacts so many fold within this first part of the year, so much so that we will have amassed all the contacts that we would have needed for a full year to get 2022 and 2022. I don't know why I get so tongue tied on that. Pray for me. Oh, it's okay. But you know, if
We know what you mean.
but if we embrace that, then you will have amassed so many contacts that you will be able to close those 22 deals this year, because it's a numbers game and you will have all the contacts that you need in the first part of the year. So let us follow up with those people that text us back. Let us follow through with transferring their information into constant contact. In constant contact, we're going to have Anika to do a training so that we're setting up campaigns in there. And I want you guys in your spare time, go into your constant contact, because there are hundreds of campaigns that are already pre-built in there, hundreds of them. And all you have to do is go and copy one of them, making sure to update it so it has your beautiful smile on it, it has your telephone number, and it's not your picture with your colleague's email address, right? Because whoever used the one last that you copy, it's going to have their information on it. So just update it so it has your information on it, because now this is the follow through. The follow through is going to be the nurturing of your book of business. You're doing all of this all of the prospecting activities in order to build your book of business. Step one, prospecting, then follow through. Building that book of business. Now you got to nurture that book of business, because that's your pipeline. That book of business that you nurture, that's going to be receiving for every single holiday this year. I want to make sure that all of our Realty pros go into constant contact and copy a holiday campaign. Okay. Go into constant contact and copy a birthday campaign. So for all of the birthdays that you're collecting, those people should receive, you know, a personal note from you on their birthday from constant contact. Hey, such and such has a birthday, so that you can make sure to celebrate the things that mean most to people. And that's them. Those are their special days. You want to make sure that you acknowledge people, you know, you show them some love on their birthday, because people will really appreciate that. They're like, you know, she could have been doing anything, but she thought about me and she, you know, celebrated me on my birthday. Those things tend to go a long way with people. Okay. So that's the following through and the nurturing of your book of business. So again, I won't say it again, because I know that I do that, and I purposefully try to, I don't know if you guys have studied any marketing, but it's a certain amount of times that you have to hear the same message before it sticks. So when you hear me saying things, I'm purposefully messaging them, because I want to make sure they stick. But instead of me purposefully messaging them, I want to hear some feedback from you guys. From everything that we've talked about this evening, tell me, you said that the lights have come on. So what are your takeaways, and what's your follow-up? What's your follow-through? Now it's your turn. You guys have the floor.
I'm just trying to get, just make sure I get through the, I guess I'll have to connect with someone, because as you were talking in the very beginning, when you were trying to show us about getting through the A through the Z, I couldn't hardly see it. So I still need to know how to do that, so I can eliminate the people that I don't want to send something to.
So you don't have to eliminate them, because with A to Z text, A to Z contacts, it's going to line them all up in order. So say by chance you have 500 people, it's going to have 500 text messages back to back, but it's only going to show you one. You're going to press send on that one, and it's going to take you to the next person. If you want that next person to receive that message, then you press send. If you don't want that next person to receive the message, you just delete their name from the top and put your name in there, so that it keeps everybody else in queue. So now you didn't send it to the person that you didn't want to receive it, but you allowed for your queue to remain intact, so that now you move on to the next message and the next person is receiving it. And in doing so, that is going to eliminate the time that it would take you to then go in and clean up your contacts, remove people that you don't want to send, and then potentially get to this a month from now or not at all. So I don't want you cleaning up your contacts before you do this. I want you to go right in, get started right away, send that message out, delete the person that you don't want it to go to, send it to yourself. Because when you send it to yourself, you can just go to all of your text messages from yourself, tap, 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 delete. And you've gotten through your whole list of contacts. Does that make sense?
It does. It just, I must not be doing something right because it's not automatically going through the next person. That's why I said I'm a visual person, so I just
Okay.
have to kind of see it.
Pull it up,
'Cause
pull it up. Let's
it's not going.
pull it up. Let's, you want to walk her through it, Aurelia? Come on. Come on, let's go through it together because we want to make sure that everybody has everything they
I
need.
hope But she has on the screen. But when you go
Put your
in there,
phone up there, Rhonda. Put your phone up to the screen and let's walk through it.
okay, do you see the plus sign at the top right side of your,
Yep.
okay, hit that plus sign.
Okay.
When you do that, it's gonna say, do you want to do it by first names, first and last name? It's going to your list. Just hit first name.
No, it doesn't come up like that. This is how it's coming up.
She needs, hey, you guys, she needs to hit the chat button first, I believe, and then select all.
Oh, she hadn't gotten to that point. I can't see her screen.
There you go. See, teamwork.
I can see it.
You can see it. I can't. see
Okay.
it.
So what am I? So what do I
Okay,
need
so
to do?
now select all.
It's the second icon to the
You know how
left
to do it?
is the chat button. You have to
On the-
select the,
Does
at
that-
the
On the
very bottom.
bottom.
The second to the left icon is the chat button. Once you select that, then you'll be able to select the all at the bottom, and it'll highlight all your contacts for you.
Okay. And then it gives me upgrade required in order to.
Do the upgrade.
That's
Just
what I'm
hit
getting
The
to.
upgrade is only $199. Do the upgrade.
So-
Yep. Do the upgrade. We're gonna walk you through the whole thing until you've sent a couple messages. When you get off this call tonight, you're gonna be on the roll. So if anybody else needs to do that so that you overcome that hurdle while we're all together, let's get started. We're gonna overcome together. And Angela, you have good eyes, by the way. Keep going.
Oh, Jesus.
I
I don't even know what my Apple ID
did
is.
this earlier, so, oh, you know, I dealt with all the challenges that you're having, Rhonda. But I did.
Yeah. I have to do forgot because I don't know what my Apple ID is.
It's all good. Walk through that process. Go to forgot and have them to resend you your password, but we're gonna overcome together.
Well, I have a question while she's doing that. Jasmine, so I selected all, and it was a little overwhelming for the number of contacts that I have in there.
That's
So
a great thing.
I got through to a certain letter, and then I exited out because I needed a break, and I didn't know how to take a break other than to exit out. So I'm assuming that when I go back in, whatever letter I left off on, I think I should be able to select all and then deselect A through the ones that I've already selected. Is that how
You
that
can.
works?
That is. So
Okay.
she's asking if, so she asked a really good question. Angela, she stopped after you got to what letter?
When I got to N. But my suggestion, and this is just my recommendation because this was very overwhelming, and it doesn't have to be. If you have over, let's say 300 contacts, my recommendation would be to select A through F. Send those out first. I don't know, take a break. Because after you start sending them, depending on the number of contacts, it can get overwhelming. It can get a little overwhelming, which is a good thing. But at the same time, I think for me, just to have that order, of I'm going to send the first 4 letters, take a break, 10-minute break, and then send the other ones. And then you get an idea of what to expect before you go through the whole alphabet.
That's a great idea. I like the strategy.
Thank you
I wish
very
I
much.
before I got to N.
Got it. Well, listen, we're going
But-
through the process together. So there are going to be best practices that we'll see as we're doing this. And when you do notice those best practices, share them with the group.
Well, I can tell you another challenge I have with this. Actually, I think it's a great exercise. It's a scary one for some because I think, Shay always talks about being afraid to hit that button. And I actually was one who cleaned my contacts. January, I'm going to clean my contacts. I cleaned them before I got started. For those who haven't done that, you do not have to do that. It would have saved me a lot of time.
Yep.
No, because you can go in and adjust. You can leave someone in there as Uncle Barry. And then when you send the message, you want to take Uncle out, you can edit each one before you send it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready.
So like my daughter's my daughter's friends' parents, I have them all in there as Mrs. Such and Such, you know, Robin's mom, whatever, all that's in the contact. And I went through and cleaned all that up when really I could have just deleted out the kid's name and kept going. So
That is spot on, which is why I said you do not have to clean up your contacts beforehand. And Angela just told us all the reasons why.
Thank you, Angela. That's good information.
Is when you're going through your A through C, for instance,
Mhm.
and you're checking. Person, you cannot check the ones that you don't want, so you don't have to worry about erasing and going through. You cannot check those, and then when you hit next, you still have.
Can you
the
guys hear
option to
her?
Hit that plus button, and then you can send them one that just keep clicking one by one.
Mhm.
So you've already cleaned it up by going through checking your certain sections and not checking the ones you want. And then when you hit next to compose, you can hit the plus button up there because it took the check marks. I took and checked these, for example. And then I went next, and now I'm hitting the check mark, and it's first name, and now I'm gonna say.
I think I want you to come up here. I want to make sure everybody can benefit from this. And then we're gonna need to walk Rhonda through to the next step. So come on up.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So, I don't know if you'll be able to. Okay. Can you see where I put the check marks just for a few of them? You see that? It's 5 of them marked, right? But say for instance, if I didn't want, I'm gonna uncheck one just to give you an example. If I only wanted these and I skip past that one in the middle, you see that? So I only have those 4. So I went through my lines of check from A to whatever it is, because I think that's very smart to do that. And then I hit the next button that's on, you're not gonna be able to see because I can hardly see it here. You see the next button? When I press that, then this is where compose message comes from. You see that? And the check mark that's by next. So when I hit the next here, wait a minute, I hit next. Wait a minute. Hold on. Go back. And I'm thinking, I have to test this because it should be asking for each one as you go through. And I don't know if it should because I asked the first name and it should be the same. That would be smart. That would get around trying to get each individual person.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Aurelia. I wanted to bring up something really important because I heard this question as well. When you finish with it, do you close out and start over? Well, when I finished with mine, I simply left it queued up. So on your, I don't know about the Android devices, but on iPhone, you can have multiple tabs open that you're not using. So I simply allow that to remain queued up so that when I come back to it, I can simply start from where I was. Okay. So that is an alternative to closing out and then having to potentially start back over and finding your place.
saved me a lot of time too because I closed it out.
There you go.
I just want to reiterate something that Jasmine mentioned. I'm just saying it again for those of you who haven't gone onto that app. Even for you, Rhonda, 2 things. If you haven't gone through it, I think what Jasmine mentioned might not make sense to you, but basically what it's going to do, it's when let's say you select all, you can go through, Rhonda, you can go through and say, you can go through and deselect your coworkers or people.
I was doing that.
To go.
I was just doing that while you guys were talking.
So my recommendation might be to, again, depending on the number of contacts, you may want to select letters A through E or give yourself a parameter. So you say, well, at least I know I went through A through E, deselect it, and then I'm going to knock out A through E by sending them, because in order to send them, you have to manually hit send. It's kind of a good thing because you get to double check it and edit it before you send it. But Jasmine mentioned that what happens when you get through and you run across someone you forgot to delete or to not include. And I struggle with that because I was logging out and logging back in and I thought, oh no, I'm starting back over from A. So it was trial and error, but the great solution she gave, if you have someone who you do not want to send it to and you selected them, instead of starting over, Jasmine mentioned, go ahead where their name is and put your name in there. And Jasmine, I think if you had said that without me going in there, I'd be clueless. But because I've gone in there, it would have saved me so much time. Basically, you can leave the message there. You take out, Rob Brown, and you just put in your own personal information and hit send. It will allow you to keep going through your already, the sequence that you have selected.
Okay.
So you said it twice, and I thought, dang, I wish I had heard that before I started, because I started over a couple of times, and these are great, pointers you guys are giving. Because it is an easy process. It's very easy.
Definitely. Hey, I saw Damika had her hand up. I didn't want to interrupt, but I want to give you a chance to ask your question or make your comment. Damika?
So I think mine was totally different from everybody else's. I have an iPhone, but I have like an iPhone 7. So it's like really old. But I downloaded A to Z, and I was having trouble with sending it individually. Like for my phone, it was trying to send it as a group message.
Did you turn on SMS?
I turned
in your
on
settings?
SMS. I had iMessage on. The thing that I had to do is take the group message off for it to send out individually for it. Because when I had talked to Mr. Porter, it never asked me to like send each message individually. It sends it for my phone. I pick maybe about 5 to 10 people at a time, and then it sent those out automatically. I didn't have to hit send each time individually or separately. So it may be different for everybody's phone. And then for me, in my contacts, I have a lot of duplicates. So instead of selecting all in the beginning, I just selected who I wanted instead of selecting all. So if you're going to do A through F, then I suggest select who you want first and don't select all, because selecting all, you have to go through F all the way to Z to deselect everybody else. So select who you want first, go through that, and then send your message, and then come back and select everything, because then you won't have to keep going back and forth and trying to figure out, oh man, who did I get? Who did I forget? You selected the people from that list that you already wanted. So the rest don't matter.
Did you guys hear Damika? Those were some great pointers. Kudos. And that's something that we know to be true. And I don't know that any one of us, not me, is an expert with every phone type, right? The different devices, they interface differently and have, slightly different functionality based on the phone. So it's important that all of us walk through the process, no matter what phone you have, because then you're going to have insight to share with the group. So kudos, hats off to you guys for all the insight that you shared. Rhonda, where are you in the process, and do you need help?
I think I'm good now.
See, told you it was easy.
I actually think I'm about to send you something.
Well, there you go. And if you guys get that message from me, I'm going through the process and I'm sending it to everybody. So you're in my contacts, and I could skip you, but I want you to know that I'm doing it too. So when you get it, just know that. Okay.
Did you get it?
Let's see. I sure did.
Okay.
I got it.
All right. I think I got it. Thank you guys so much. I'm not a techie person, but I'm learning it.
It's all good. That's why we're here, and that's why we're doing it together. No man left behind. Don't worry about it. Okay.
I'm left behind.
It's on and popping now.
Kermon, how are you left behind? We're going through this step by step. Why are you left behind, Kermon? What's happening? Kermon. Kermon. I don't know if you're speaking, but your phone, your call is muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so here we go. So I was with you. I was right with you. And then I got to this thing, and it says tip. In order for group messaging to work reliably, you must have send as SMS turned on. If you also have messages turned on, you can change these settings by going to your iPhone settings message. And then it says, don't show this tip again, more info, and okay. I hit
Who wants to
okay.
walk them through that process?
Yes, please walk me through.
Just go, Carmine.
Yes.
Go to your settings right now on your iPhone.
Okay, go to my settings. Where
Yep.
are my settings, or what are my settings?
So it's going to be a gray box that looks like an ear on the inside.
Okay, I see settings. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay.
Scroll down in settings until you see messages.
You see messages. Well, I've seen that. Wait a minute.
I'm following along too.
Yeah, because I'm getting ready to pay somebody to meet me in the office and do this for me. So okay,
Just walk
did it.
through it. You can do it. Keep
Did
going.
it. Okay, I hit it. Messages. Okay.
You got
now what?
messages. Okay, so in messages, you will, if you have iMessage on, so that means if it's green, so scroll down until you see iMessage. If you see iMessage, you're going to have to scroll down just a little bit and you'll see SMS.
I don't even see iMessage.
Yeah,
I see
it's not on
location.
mine either.
Okay.
Yeah, I see location, photos, microphone, camera,
So give me
notifications,
one
background.
because I turned my iMessages off because I was trying to figure out why my stuff wasn't working. So give me a second.
Okay.
So you should see, if you're in settings and then messages, if it's updated, you should see focus, Siri and search, notifications, and then you should see iMessage.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, let me tell you what I see. I see Siri and search. Then I see notifications right under that. Then I
Carmine,
see
if you were to turn your camera on and just show us, then we could walk through it and see what you see. You know, that would make it easier for you. Help us to help you.
You know what
Turn
I
my
did?
camera
I
on.
went further. I went real far down and looked at the second messenger. You have to look at the first one.
Yeah, it just says iMessage is right under notifications.
Yep. So should it be on or off?
It should be on. So it should be green.
Okay, so mine is on. Okay.
So if you see that, if you turned it on, it should have added a few more things available to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then within that, I think it's, let me count, from iMessage, you see send and receive, share name and photo, share with you, show contacts, send, read receipts, and then it says send an SMS.
Okay, that's on. Okay, I got that turned on. It's green. I just saw
that is green. So make sure it's green for you as well, Rhonda.
Okay, now that one wasn't on. Okay, so now it's on. Okay.
Okay. Right. Now for it, just so you all know, if you are in this area in messages, you should see MMS under send SMS and then group messages. If it does not send the messages separately and you have them clustered in a group, turn your group messaging off.
Okay.
Okay. You guys might not have to worry about that because you probably have a more up-to-date iPhone than I do.
Okay. All right. So I just turned it off. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
So should it be, right now, should it be on or should it be off?
I don't know if it matters. I didn't ask Mr. Porter if his group message was on or off. I don't know.
Okay.
I suggest
mine is on and it's been on.
Okay, so if it's been on and you've been able to send messages and they've been sent separately instead of in a group, then that's perfectly fine.
Okay. All right.
So now when you go back, Carmine, and go back to A to Z, it'll ask you the same thing unless you say, don't show it to me anymore. Like it'll ask you that same, or it'll give you that same tip, but you don't have to worry about it because you've already done it.
Okay. All right. So now I see all my contacts. Okay, and all of them have a check mark by them too, by the way.
Okay.
So now what do I do?
So if they already have a check mark, you know that they're selected if they're blue.
Yes.
So if you touch on one, it'll turn blue and that means it's selected. So from what everybody else said, they went through, they went down to the bottom and selected all. But
Okay.
you can do it to where you can select your own individual ones. Because for me personally, I had a lot of duplicates, duplicate phone numbers and things of that nature, and I didn't want to send it over again. So I selected mine individually, went to like A to F, and then sent the message, and then went from F to whatever, or G to whatever you wanted to.
So when you say you did it individually, so you clicked on or to touch each one individually, or you changed it at the bottom to none and then did it individually? Because at the bottom I see I can do all or I can do none. So right now it's like,
so I some people did all, and
Okay.
then they deselected. All it's doing is selecting or deselecting. So turning the contacts white or blue. That's all it's doing.
Okay.
Start with all, Kermon, so that the app will
Okay.
queue them up for you and you can go swiftly back to back. And anybody that you don't want to send it to, like Angela was reiterating, when it gets to that person, just remove their name. It's going to appear in the top of your phone. You'll be able to remove it and then just put your own.
Okay. So now that I did
Okay.
all I have to do now is hit next, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Keep going, D'Amica. You guys are doing a great job.
So yeah, you got next, and then you should be at compose your message.
Yes.
I just copied and paste.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's what you should have in your notes. So just copy that message and
Yep.
drop it right on in there.
Okay. All
And make
right.
sure you put your name in there, not just leaving name here.
Okay. So where it says first name, last name, I put my name.
Right,
And
exactly.
And then all I have to do is just copy and paste what I had from my thing into there.
Exactly.
And then after that, just hit next again.
Exactly.
Okay. I think I can handle that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Kudos to you ladies. You guys are awesome. Thank you for helping each other. This is who we are as Porterhouse. So that being said, if someone needs help with the A to Z contacts, you're going to be calling Angela Skipper and you're going to be calling D'Amica Brain, because as we see, we have resident experts among us, okay? And also Aurelia Douglas. So you know who to call if you need some help with the A to Z contacts, okay? You guys are awesome. I am not going to keep us longer. We are a couple minutes past 8:30. I want to honor your time, especially for those in the office who have to drive home. So I'm going to go ahead and have us to pray out for the evening, and we're going to go ahead and close out this evening training. We'll be back next Thursday, same time next Thursday, 7 p.m. hybrid, both in the office and virtual. Should you guys choose to come into the office, make sure that you RSVP so that we can make sure that you're properly socially distanced in the office. Everybody here, you have your masks and everything. Everybody online, you join us through the link. Hey, D'Amica, how you doing? Hey, Maggie, turned on. Let me see if we can get Paula and Kermon. I'm gonna give y'all a hard time now. Everybody else has turned on their camera.
Oh, Lord.
All right, Paula's turn. Hey,
Okay.
Paula, how are you? All right, now, Kermon, you have no excuses now. None whatsoever.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm gonna
Okay,
call
well.
I'm gonna call Christine on you, Kermon. You better turn that camera on. Everybody else has their one. Your picture looks nice, but you can wave by at least.
Okay, listen. Miss Ford, I tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. I'll make a deal.
Oh,
I
Lord.
promise you, from now on going forward, you got it.
The
You'll
ladies
see
are
me.
making you look bad, Kermon. If we ladies can
I know,
turn our
I know.
camera on, you have no excuse. Okay? We're gonna hold you to that the next time. It is well.
Okay.
It is well.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to see everybody's face.
Kermon, I have on my pajamas.
Look,
Kermon, I have on my pajamas.
I can beat that. I just finished eating, and I don't know if you know what us men do after we eat and we're full and we start,
You'll
unlatching
be
the belt
fine.
and all that
You'll
kind of
be
stuff.
fine.
Just
Trevon.
show
But
us your face.
It's
Your
not a pretty
face.
picture. No, you would see more than my face. It's
Listen,
not a
we're
pretty
gonna
picture.
move on. It's okay. So we're gonna
Okay.
hold you to it the next time. We're gonna move
You
on.
got
But it is
No
so
problem.
good to see everybody's faces, guys. Let's
Absolutely.
go ahead and pray out for the evening because I really want to let these ladies go who are here at the office so they can drive home, get home safely, and before it gets too late. Does anybody feel led to pray us out this evening? Come on,
Hey.
Aurelia. Come on. Come on and pray us out.
Lord, first of all, we thank and praise you for this day. We thank you for waking us up this morning, for blessing us with another day of life, health, and strength. We thank you, Lord Jesus, for this portal that you have set forth through Porterhouse International Realty Group, Lord, and all that we're learning, Lord Jesus, through everything that we need to do. Give us the strength, Lord Jesus, and the wisdom to know exactly to do with each individual, Lord Jesus, as they go out, Lord Jesus, and prospect or whatever it is that we have to do, Lord Jesus, to get the numbers and the goal and reach the goal that we have decided to reach throughout the year, Lord. We thank you, Lord Jesus, for being our God, Lord, and showing us how to do these things and all these things that we learn, Lord, not to be overwhelmed, but to trust in you, Lord. So we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen.
All right, guys.
Amen.
We'll have a great rest of the evening. Should you need anything, let us know. I'll be back here in the office tomorrow. These ladies have beat me here 2 weeks in a row. So I was here early, left on some appointments, and I thought I was getting back before everybody, like 6:15. I get here and there's at least 3 cars outside and they beat me. So listen, they're grinding. They're about their business. They're in here grinding. And then Talita comes shooting right behind them. So listen, this is great. Everybody's gonna get 22 in 2022. And I said it right there.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, have a good night. See you
Have a
guys
great
later.
one. Everyone drive
Great
Good night,
safely.
ladies.
Drive safely.
All right.
Yes, y'all
Bye-bye.
drive safely, please.
All
God
right.
bless.
Bye-bye.